How's it going? Day number 2 of this challenge. And for this workout, we don't need a lot of space, but what we may need is a couple of pieces of equipment. Now, you can improvise and use different things if you don't have equipment available to you, or I am also going to offer some alternative movements. The way this workout is going to be structured is we're going to do a couple of mobility exercises, kind of like we did yesterday, to get ourselves warmed up and ready for the main workout. And the main workout is going to be 2 blocks. So 2 blocks of 6 minutes rather than just one big block of 15 minutes that we done yesterday. So let's get into the mobility first of all. The first movement we are going to do are called shoulder dislocations. For this, you can use a resistance band if you have one. And if you don't have one, there is the option of taking a towel, wrapping it up and using that instead. Okay, I'll show you for using a towel, just to prove that it can be done, okay? So, you're going to hold on to the either ends of the towel as far apart as you can, first of all, and your arms stay straight the entire time, no bending in the elbows here. You're going to bring the arms out in front of you as far as possible. Bring the hands straight up overhead, still no bending in the elbows here, all the way back until the towel touches the back of the hips, still no bending in the elbows, and all the way back. Okay, so a couple of reps here, no bending in the elbows, going backwards and forwards, keeping the chest nice and proud. Okay, now if that is easy, to make it more difficult, what you can do is bring your hands a little bit closer together on the towel and do the same movement again. Okay. Same rules apply for if you're doing this with an elastic band or a resistance band or even a belt. A belt would probably be a good substitute as well. So we're going to do that 10 times. Starting from the front of the hip to the back of the hip and back again is 1 rep. We're going to do 10 reps. The second mobility exercise we are going to do from the floor. So what I want you to do is lie flat on the floor. Shoulder blades stay up tall. And we're going to have both knees bent with our feet flat on the floor. This is just the starting position. From here, we're going to extend one leg up towards the ceiling as straight as we can. So try not to have any bending in the knee here, okay? Trying to go as straight as you can, as high as you can. If this is here, that's fine. If you try and bring your leg up and it starts to bend, drop it back down until the straight position. So from here, we're going to alternate the legs. So we'll bend the leg that's extended and straighten out the leg that was bent and on the floor. We're going to alternate between each foot, trying to keep the legs as straight and as high as possible until we've done 10 on each side. This next movement we're going to do is called the deep lunge with rotation. So one foot goes out in front, one foot steps back as far as possible and knee goes to the floor, and both hands come down to the floor here. And you'll notice that my hands are in line with my foot. What I'm going to do is the hand that's closest to my foot, I'm going to take it off the floor and rotate it up towards the ceiling. And on the way back down, I'm going to bend the elbow and try and bring my elbow as close to the floor as possible. You should be feeling this all on the inside of the leg and inside the hips. Elbow as close to the floor as we can. Hand back up to the ceiling and back down towards the floor. We're going to do 8 on this leg. Then we're going to swap legs. I'll show you from the side a little bit here. Hands to the floor. Hand up to the ceiling. Bend the elbow. Try and get it as close to the floor as possible. And back up. 8 on this leg. So for the mobility, we're going to do 2 rounds. We're going to do 10 dislocations. We're going to do 10 on each leg of those leg extensions. Then we're going to do 8 on each side of those deep lunge with rotations. Then we're going to repeat all again. So let's get into the first 6-minute block of today's workout. There are 3 exercises. I'm going to go through each of those and I'm going to demonstrate them. I'm also going to give alternatives just in case you don't have any equipment to do these movements with. So the first movement we're going to do are deadlifts. For this you can use one dumbbell or you can use a kettlebell. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a hip hinge. I'll show you what a hip hinge looks like and the difference between it and a squat. Remember, we're hip hinging, not squatting. So, with the hip hinge, you want to stand up nice and tall and imagine the bum going back to touch the door. So with a straight back, the bum sits back, head goes forward, the shins stay vertical, and back up again. The difference between that and the squat is that my hips are going backwards and forwards, rather than a squat where my hips go straight down and straight back up again. So, with the dumbbell goes in between our feet. We stand over the top of the dumbbell. We perform the hip hinge. Bum goes back, head goes forward. Feel the tension in the hamstrings, and the hands grab onto the top of the dumbbell. From here, pull the shoulder blades back and squeeze the legs, pushing the floor away to the standing position again. To bring the dumbbell back to the floor, hips go back, load into the hamstrings, head goes forward, dumbbell back to the floor. Load into the legs again and press away. So, if you don't have a dumbbell, I'm going to give you an alternative movement to do, which is body weight. We can do glute bridges. Now, this is going to be a little bit different, but what we're targeting here is the hamstrings and the glutes. So you should feel it in the back of the legs and your bum. So, if you don't have a dumbbell, lie on the floor. You're going to have both feet planted flat on the floor, and then you're just going to raise the tiptoes off. So you're pressing into your heels. You're going to push the heels into the floor, raising the hips up, squeezing the bum, the glutes, and squeezing the hamstrings, the backs of the legs as hard as you can, pausing for a second and back down. Hips go up, squeeze the back of the legs, squeeze the bum, pause and back down. So, if you have a dumbbell and you're going to do deadlifts, or if you have a kettlebell and you're going to do deadlifts, we are going to do 5 reps. If you are doing the glute bridges, you're going to go for a total of 20 reps. So the second movement of this 6-minute block is called the half kneeling press. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring one knee to the floor and the other foot stays planted on the floor. So we're down on one knee. If you can do this with the same dumbbell that you've just done your deadlifts with, that's fine. If you need to go a little bit lighter, if you have that option, then grab a lighter dumbbell for these overhead presses. So we're going to take the dumbbell in one hand, squeeze the bum. We're going to keep ourselves up tall and we're going to press the dumbbell straight up overhead while looking forward. Back down to the shoulder, press back overhead. We're going to do 5 reps. And then we are going to switch legs. So the opposite leg comes to the floor, opposite foot comes to the floor, and then we switch hands. 5 reps on this hand. Squeezing the bum for stability. 5. Cool. Now, if you have a dumbbell that is too heavy to press, you were able to do your deadlifts with it, but you're not able to press it overhead, or if you don't have a dumbbell at all, or a kettlebell at all, then the alternative for this is the press up. And what we're going to do for the press up is demonstrate 2 different ways of doing this. You can do standard press up where the hands are on the floor and the feet are on the floor, or you can do a box press up where the hands are on the floor and the knees are on the floor. So, demonstrate both. Hands on the floor underneath the shoulders, feet fully extended out straight, squeezing the abs. Then we're going to bend at the elbows to bring the entire body down to the floor and press the floor away to return to the top position. The alternative then is the box press up. Knees on the floor, hands out under the shoulders. We're going to bring ourselves, lower ourselves down to the floor until the chest touches, and then press the floor away again to press back up. So, If you're going to do the single arm press with the dumbbell or the kettlebell, you're going to do 5 on each arm. If you're going to do the press up or the box press up, you're going to do 10 reps. The last movement in this 6-minute block is called a dead bug. This requires a little bit of coordination, so bear with me on this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to lie on the floor on your back. We're going to curl the shoulder blades up off the floor so they aren't touching. And we're going to lift both feet up off the floor with our legs bent in roughly about a 90-degree angle. We're going to have our hands reaching over our chest as if we're trying to touch the ceiling. And we're going to lower one leg and one hand down as the opposite hand comes back. Then we're going to switch sides. So, one hand and one leg moving at a time, and the opposite moving in the opposite direction. So, again, right hand and right knee stay where they are. The left foot and left hand go down. As we swap, the right hand and the right foot come down, the left hand comes overhead, right hand overhead, right knee up, and left down. If the dead bug isn't possible, or the coordination isn't happening, or you're just not feeling it, what we can substitute this for is a standard plank. So what we're going to do, we're going to have elbows flat on the floor, our body straight and keeping the abs tucked. So forearms down onto the floor, feet fully extended, legs fully extended. We're going to curl the bum forward and squeeze the abs as hard as we can. If you're feeling this in the lower back, there is no tension in the abs. I want you to lift the bum up, walk the tiptoes closer to you, and curl the bum forward. Squeeze the bum, squeeze your abs, and hold for as long as possible. So, in a nutshell, 6 minutes, as many rounds as possible. We are going to do 5 deadlifts with a dumbbell or a kettlebell, or your substitution there is the 20 glute bridges. The second exercise is the 5 half kneeling presses on one arm, half kneeling press on the other arm, 5 reps. If that's not an option, the substitute for that is either the press up or the box press up, where you're going to do 10 reps. And the last exercise are the dead bugs. You're going to do the dead bug until you've done 10 on each side. And if that's not happening for you, then we can substitute that for a plank. And you're going to hold that plank for as long as you can, as tight as you can. 6 minutes, as many rounds as you can. Let's do it. Okay, so now it's time for the second 6-minute block. There again are 3 exercises in this workout. Again, if you don't have the equipment, I'm going to offer some alternatives. So the first movement that we're going to do is a goblet squat. If you have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, you can use this. So we lift the dumbbell up to the chest with the elbows facing down. We keep the chest up nice and tall. We're going to bend at the knees and drop into as low a squat as we can, thinking elbows inside the knees. Press the floor away through the legs to the standing position again. We're going to go for 5 reps. 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, or the weight that you do have is a little bit too heavy to perform this movement, then you're going to do bodyweight squats, and we're going to do 15 reps. So same as before, chest is up tall, hand out in front or by the chest for a bit of balance. You're going to drop into as low a squat as you can and back up. 15 reps, okay? So either 5 goblet squats with your kettlebell or your dumbbell, or 15 bodyweight squats. The second movement that you're going to do is with the dumbbell or the kettlebell, and it's going to be a bent over row. So, the dumbbell in one hand, you're going to take a step back. So if the dumbbell or the kettlebell is in your right hand, you're going to step back with the right leg. Lean on the left arm and lean the body weight forward, trying to keep as straight back as possible. With the arm, you're going to roll the dumbbell up and back towards the hip and back down again. 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to switch sides. So switch the hand, switch the leg that goes back, lean on the opposite leg, straight back, and 5 rows towards the hip. 2, 3, 4, 5. So, again, if you don't have a dumbbell, or the dumbbell that you do have is too heavy to perform this movement, we need to find an alternative. Now, working from home, rowing movements can be pretty difficult to find substitutes for. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to improvise here. We're going to have to do burpees. So, 2 ways we can do the burpees. We can go chest to the floor, which means you end up lying flat down, or we can go tall burpees, so you end up in kind of like a press up position, and I'll show you both variations. You start with a jump straight up, so you jump up, hands come to the floor, and the feet jump back. Allow yourself to sprawl down flat onto the floor, jump the legs back in, and jump up. Then the straight arm variation of that is without the chest coming to the floor. So you sit same way, you do the jump up, hands to the floor, feet jump back and stop here, jump the feet in and up again. So if you're going to do the single arm row, you're going to do 5 on one arm and 5 on the other arm. If you're going to opt for the burpees, you're going to do 5 burpees, whether that's chest to the floor or with the straight arms. The last exercise in this block is a suitcase carry. We can do this lots of different ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this door to give me access to my kitchen. Or we can open this door which gives me access to my stairs. Okay? Either way, what you're going to do, you're going to hold the dumbbell in one hand. If you're going to take a walk around the kitchen and around the same level of your house, you're going to do 20 steps on each leg, switch the hands, and repeat it again. So, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20. Then we swap hands. 1, 2, 3, you get the idea. The other option then again is if you have a flight of stairs in your house, put the dumbbell in one hand, climb up the stairs and back down the stairs. Swap hands, walk up the stairs and walk back down the stairs. So, again, if you don't have a dumbbell or a kettlebell to do this carried walk, or the suitcase walk as it's called, then we need to find an alternative. So what we're going to do is we're going to do lunges. We're going to stand up tall. We're going to step forward or backwards, whichever one is up to you. I prefer stepping backwards. So chest stays up nice and tall. We lift one foot up off the floor and step back. Bend the knee until it comes down towards the floor. Press off the front leg to stand again. And we alternate legs. Lunge, lunge, knee to the floor, chest stays up tall. And we are going to alternate between those legs until we have done 10 on each side. So just an overview again of what the workout is going to look like. You're going to do 5 goblet squats with your kettlebell or dumbbell, or you're going to do 15 bodyweight squats. The second movement, you're going to do 5 dumbbell rows on one arm, 5 dumbbell rows on the other arm. And if you don't have that as an option, you're going to do 5 burpees, whether that's chest to the floor or arms out straight. Then the third movement we're going to do is a suitcase carry. 20 steps on each leg if you're staying along the same level of your house. And then swap arms, 20 steps on each leg again. Or you can go dumbbell in one hand, walk up the stairs, walk back down the stairs, Swap pans, walk up the stairs and walk back down the stairs. If the dumbbell isn't an option for that carry, then we're doing 10 lunges on each leg. Set your timer for 6 minutes and see how many rounds you can get done in that time. Good luck.